I don't give a damn. I said what I said. I meant what I meant. And I'm going to double up and double down on my podcast, The Stephen A. Smith Show. Look for it on YouTube today. I didn't stutter.
Stephen A. Smith has never been one to bite his tongue, and now he's coming straight for Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa. He's throwing heavy accusations saying she's burning through Kobe's fortune and could be staring down financial disaster. Stephen says he's got the receipts, and the spending habits he's pointing to are jaw-dropping. The storm is brewing, and it's personal, because now the widow of an NBA icon is caught in the middle of a messy, public showdown. In a fiery recent interview, Stephen A. didn't pull a single punch. He openly questioned if Vanessa is cutting off Kobe's family from his wealth and hinted that her own finances might be falling apart. To see how it's come to this, we need to rewind, because piece by piece, the empire Kobe built is starting to crack in plain sight. It all began with a bombshell that ripped through the Bryant family. Vanessa's own mother, Sophia Lane, dropped a claim that left fans stunned, accusing her daughter of kicking her out of her home just months after Kobe's tragic death in September 2020. In an interview no one saw coming, Sophia said she was left homeless by the same daughter whose husband had promised to take care of her forever. This wasn't some quiet family fight swept under the rug. It exploded into court.
Even black people are inferior.
Sophia sued Vanessa, saying Kobe had promised lifelong financial support. She claimed she had worked nearly 20 years as an unpaid personal assistant and nanny for the family, and she wasn't asking for scraps. She wanted $5 million, a brand new house, and a Mercedes SUV. Vanessa's clapback? Explosive. She accused her own mother of straight-up extortion, saying Sophia only babysat occasionally and was now trying to cash in on a tragedy. Vanessa hit back hard. I have supported her for nearly 20 years. She now wants to backcharge me $96 per hour for supposedly working 12 hours a day for 18 years. Vanessa fired back in a public statement and then dropped a line that sent shockwaves through the court of public opinion. My husband never promised my mother anything, she declared. But if this was just a battle with her mom, it would have been one thing. This was only the opening act. Because right as she was fighting her own mother in court, Kobe's mom, Pamela Bryant, stepped out of the shadows with a bombshell of her own. Pamela accused Vanessa of completely cutting her off after Kobe's death, saying she'd been abandoned financially and left with nothing by the woman who married her son.
Kobe's mother. Kobe's mother is still walking. She's still with us. Vanessa Bryant, are you going to take care of Kobe's mom?
Let that sink in. Within the same year Kobe passed, both mothers, Sophia and Pamela, were calling Vanessa out for financial betrayal. The media swarmed in, social media exploded, and Stephen A. Smith himself jumped in on the mess, questioning why no one in the NBA world was holding Vanessa accountable. The only one who seemed to consistently take aim at her, Dr. Umar. At one point, he even claimed Vanessa was neglecting Kobe's parents because she's a racist, and that the media was letting it slide because she's a white woman. But here's where it gets tricky. This isn't just about family drama, accusations of racism, or messy in-law beef. According to people close to the family, this comes down to what Kobe himself would have wanted. Kobe and his mother had been estranged long before his death. She never apologized for one of their biggest fallouts. When in 2013, Pamela tried selling his high school jerseys and championship rings without his permission, Kobe slapped her with a lawsuit, and from then on, she was cut off emotionally and financially. So after his death, when Pamela turned to Vanessa for support and Vanessa refused, the tables turned. The headlines painted Vanessa as the villain. The wild twist? The same woman Kobe allegedly wanted nothing to do with is now the one the world is accusing Vanessa of mistreating. But the million-dollar question still lingers. If Vanessa inherited an estimated $600 million empire, why are there whispers she's on the verge of going broke? The deeper you dig into Vanessa Bryant's financial world, the more a pattern jumps out. And it's not a pretty one. This doesn't look like just a grieving widow trying to get by. This looks like someone possibly living way past her limits, tangled up in lawsuits, media heat, and quiet rumors of a crumbling empire. Even some of Kobe's most loyal fans are starting to side-eye her, asking, what is Vanessa really hiding? Let's start with the most explosive thread, her own mother dragging her to court with claims of betrayal. First, it was Pamela Bryant, then Sophia Lane. Two mothers, two lawsuits, two bombshell accusations, and only one woman in the hot seat. But if you think that's the peak of this mess, think again. Because behind the walls of the Bryant estate, there's a secret war brewing.
You know, I don't hear nobody saying that. Now, you and I both know, if a black woman inherited a white man's estate and he had some old white parents, White folks would be all over the media shaming them. All over the media shaming them. But because Kobe Bryant's parents are black, Vanessa's not black, nobody's coming to his family's defense. I just hope they stand up for Kobe's mom.
One over legacy, power, and money, and it's spilling into the public in the messiest way imaginable. Since Kobe's passing, Vanessa hasn't just inherited his fortune, she's controlled it. And with that control came a string of financial moves that have sparked deep concern, legal confusion, and whispers that Kobe's legacy could be taking a hit. Dr. Umar has even tied it back to racism, saying there's more to this than meets the eye. Kobe's net worth at his death, around $600 million, with $200 million from his NBA career, plus over $400 million in investments and business plays, including his legendary $6 million body armor buy-in that ballooned to $400 million after Coca-Cola swooped in. Add to that brand deals, luxury homes, rare cars, collectibles, and his media empire under Granity Studios. This was a fortune built to last generations. So, where did it all go? The first red flag wasn't in the headlines, it was in the real estate market. In 2022, Vanessa quietly put one of Kobe's Newport Beach homes, bought in 2013, up for sale. It had appreciated by about $2 million, but the timing raised eyebrows, especially as whispers of mounting legal fees and estate restructuring started floating around. And within the next year, 2 more luxury properties hit the market, including a family condo and a lavish retreat outside California. What's wild is, these weren't just random luxury homes. These were properties Kobe had planned to keep for his daughters as part of his long-term estate plan. Yet, one by one, they've been sold off. Her camp stayed silent, but financial insiders didn't. Experts say when you see multiple properties sold in quick succession, especially by someone without a steady income stream.
Racism is about the control of resources, opportunities, and privileges. It has nothing to do with calling black people the N-word. It has nothing to do with make-believe.
It usually screams one thing: cash flow problems. One estate planning attorney even told Bloomberg anonymously that Vanessa's legal battles have chewed through a shocking chunk of Kobe's fortune in just 3 years. And the list of lawsuits is long. A wrongful death suit against the helicopter company, a brutal fight with the LA County Sheriff's Department over those leaked crash scene photos. She won $16 million, but much of that got swallowed up by legal fees and split with co-plaintiffs. 2 messy family lawsuits from her mother, plus a threatened one from Kobe's mom. Ongoing trust disputes. The works. Even when she wins, the cost of fighting is sky high. Between attorney retainers, estate wrangling, asset disputes, and private settlements, insiders say she's burned through tens of millions in legal fees alone. And then there's her lifestyle. Over the last 3 years, Vanessa's been spotted jetting off to Europe, Turks and Caicos, Aspen, rocking custom couture gowns at award shows and celebrity galas, hosting private events with celebrity chefs, 5-star venues, and full-on private security, and always flying private, even for short domestic trips. Now, no one's saying she shouldn't live well. She's a widow raising 3 daughters, and she's entitled to comfort. But here's the real problem. She doesn't seem to be rebuilding the Bryant empire. She's draining it. Take Granity Studios, Kobe's pride and joy. Before his death, he had turned it into a powerhouse, publishing books and negotiating with Netflix and Disney for animated adaptations. Now, the Instagram page has been dark for over 2 years. The website lists 0 new projects, and ex-employees say the studio is either on hold or shutting down completely. Even the Mamba Sports Foundation, now renamed the Mamba and Mamba. Even the Mamba and Mamba Cheetah Sports Foundation, Kobe's passion project, has slowed to a crawl under Vanessa's watch. She still promotes it on social media, but tax records tell a different story. Funding has taken a steep dive year after year, and corporate sponsors have quietly slipped away. The Bryant estate was never just about money. It was about legacy, vision, and impact. Kobe wanted his daughters to inherit not only his wealth, but his mission, and now that mission is fading fast. Multiple insiders claim Vanessa has been consolidating Kobe's business partnerships and personal trusts, stripping away advisory boards, replacing the managers Kobe handpicked, and pulling all the decision-making under her control. She's not just inheriting power, she's reassigning it. One former Granity Studios consultant warned, "That's a huge red flag, because Kobe built layers of protection around his empire. And now, it's basically all riding on Vanessa. Between massive legal fees, property taxes, upkeep on luxury estates, private jet travel, elite security, A high-maintenance lifestyle, non-diversified investments, and little evidence of new scalable income from Kobe's brands. Experts estimate Vanessa could have already burned through over $100 million since 2021. And if something doesn't change, whether a big reinvestment into Kobe's business assets or major new brand partnerships, insiders say she could drain the estate's liquid assets within the decade.
That man left her a sizable estate, man. A sizable estate. And I don't hear any of these NBA players saying like, listen, we're not trying to get in your business, but Kobe was our brother.
Stephen A. Smith and others call it a tragedy in slow motion, an empire Kobe spent decades building, vanishing before the world's eyes. Forbes recently broke down Kobe's estate, but noticeably skipped praising Vanessa's financial leadership. The Los Angeles Times called her real estate sales strategic, but admitted the future of the Bryant estate is uncertain. They weren't shielding her anymore. And that silence is deafening. Even the celebrity circle that once surrounded her has thinned. In 2020 and 2021, she was everywhere with A-listers: Lala Anthony, Ciara, Kim Kardashian, Gabrielle Union. But by 2023, the posts disappeared. Fewer red carpet appearances, no more gushy birthday tributes. Mentions dried up, and now you'd struggle to find any high-profile celeb publicly defending her. Even LeBron James, once considered close to the Bryant family, has stayed completely silent on the lawsuits and estate drama. And when everyone around you goes quiet, it's usually because they know something you don't. The backlash didn't just stay in the tabloids, it crashed straight into Kobe's most sacred territory, his fans. And Kobe Bryant's fan base isn't just loyal, they're fierce, emotional, and protective to the core. But now, even they're starting to ask the hard questions. Why has the Mamba Academy's online presence almost vanished? Why has Nike pulled back from commemorative Kobe merch? Why aren't there major documentaries or books celebrating his legacy anymore? Insiders say the answer is simple. Vanessa holds full creative and legal control over all of it, and she's either not making it a priority or she's actively blocking it. One former ESPN producer, speaking only under the condition of anonymity, revealed that a huge Kobe docuseries planned for a major streaming service was delayed indefinitely after estate negotiations collapsed. Why? Because Vanessa's legal team allegedly made demands that were impossible to meet. The result? Silence. No documentary, no long-form tribute, no big public commemoration of the Mamba legacy, just occasional charity merch drops and social media posts. And fans are asking the painful question, what would Kobe think if he saw this? The lawsuits, the silence, the fortune drained by legal fees and lavish spending. Both mothers, his and hers, suing his widow in the same year. The fans turning, the brand fading, the trust shattered. This isn't just a scandal anymore. Some are calling it a spiritual betrayal. Kobe's legacy wasn't just about basketball. It was about discipline, fatherhood, mentorship, and building something that would outlive him. He pushed harder than anyone to create an empire that would stand for generations. And now, that dream is at risk of dying with him. And nowhere is that more heartbreaking than with the Mamba Sports Academy, Kobe's second baby. A high-performance training center built on mental toughness, teamwork, and excellence. It was the place he and Gianna trained side by side, a temple to his values. After his death, Vanessa renamed it the Mamba and Mambachita Sports Foundation, a touching gesture at first. But according to public filings and first-hand accounts, the foundation has since cut back training programs, halted expansion, lost big-name sponsors, and laid off or reassigned staff. The very place Kobe wanted to mold the next generation of athletes, now reduced to just a brand name and a trickle of press appearances. Kobe Bryant was famously disciplined with his money. Even at the height of his career, he steered clear of reckless splurges. He put his wealth into companies, creative projects, and charities. His personal motto? Own, don't rent. Build, don't borrow. But Vanessa's approach couldn't be more different. Selling off the legacy properties Kobe intended to keep, burning millions in legal wars with both sides of the family, jet-setting on private planes, hosting luxury getaways, wearing high-end designer looks, all with no clear reinvestment into Kobe's business vision or brand growth. And that's where the heartbreak sets in. Is this what Kobe fought for? Would he have wanted his name tied up in lawsuits, his parents iced out, and the studios and academies he built left to fade quietly into the background? Even if you stand by Vanessa as a mother and sympathize with her grief, her current path just doesn't match Kobe's philosophy. Kobe didn't just win championships, he poured his soul into something bigger, building a legacy brick by brick. And now, that dream is being slowly dismantled. Not by rivals or strangers, but by the one person who vowed to protect it. That's why Stephen A. Smith's comments cut so deep, because Kobe's estate was never just about the money. It was about dreams, vision, and purpose. And now, what's left is a fractured family, a dormant business empire, vanishing funds, and deafening silence. Can the Bryant legacy survive without Kobe? Or has the empire he built already slipped away? The answer sits squarely with Vanessa. She still has time to turn it around, to reinvest, reconcile, and rebuild. But she'll have to do what Kobe always did when the odds looked impossible: fight back with everything she's got. And here's the kicker. Kobe's Nike deal was set to generate millions for his estate for years to come. But since 2020, Nike has quietly scaled back Kobe merch drops. Industry insiders claim Vanessa's team has been a nightmare to deal with, making demands that Nike execs saw as unreasonable and completely against Kobe's original vision for the partnership. A former Nike executive, speaking only under the condition of anonymity, revealed something that cuts right to the heart of Kobe's vision. Kobe wanted his shoes priced so kids who couldn't afford Jordans could still wear them with pride. But Vanessa's team, they pushed for premium pricing and ultra-limited releases, the exact opposite of what Kobe stood for. The result? Millions in potential revenue gone. Revenue Kobe had planned to funnel into scholarships, training academies, and his daughter's futures. Most people know about Vanessa's $16 million court win against LA County over the leaked crash photos. What they don't know is how much of that money she actually saw, because massive legal fees ate up a huge chunk and the settlement had to be split with other victims' families. Even more shocking, sources claim Vanessa turned down a much larger settlement offer early on because her legal team told her they could squeeze out more. That gamble may have cost the estate tens of millions in extra legal costs and dragged the case out for years. Before his death, Kobe was working with trusted partners on projects beyond body armor and Granity, including tech startups, global business ventures, and major media deals. So, where are those partners now? Several have gone completely silent. One tech entrepreneur who collaborated with Kobe on a sports analytics company told us off the record. After Kobe died, Vanessa's people came in and basically shut everything down. Millions in development just evaporated overnight. Kobe wasn't just a US legend. He was a global icon, beloved in China, Italy, and across Europe. He had licensing deals, international sponsorships, and was planning massive overseas expansions. And now, no public appearances by Vanessa abroad. No new global partnerships. No continuation of Kobe's international business network. That worldwide empire Kobe was building, it's just gone quiet. It's starting to feel like she's deliberately letting Kobe's global empire slip away, the empire he spent decades building brick by brick. But maybe the most heartbreaking detail of all, Kobe was working on a memoir. Close friends confirm he had been writing it himself, pouring out stories of his life, his mistakes, his growth as a father, and his dreams for his daughter's futures. That manuscript is reportedly locked away inside the estate, and Vanessa has shown zero interest in publishing it. So, why has Nike quietly pulled back? Why have international partners gone radio silent? Why are former employees even breaking their NDAs to speak out? The answer might be simpler and scarier than we think. Maybe they know something the rest of us don't. If Stephen A. Smith was bold enough to say what everyone else has been whispering, then maybe it's time we all start asking the tough questions. Is Vanessa Bryant truly the guardian of Kobe's legacy, or the one dismantling it piece by piece? Is she a widow fighting to survive, or someone who never fully understood the empire she inherited? And most of all, what would Kobe say if he could see the state of everything he built? The clock's ticking, the money's drying up, the legacy's crumbling, and soon there might be nothing left to save. If you think the truth needs to be told, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe, because we're not done asking the questions no one else will.